warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone. So today our group will present our assignment entitled An Analysis of the Role of Felda in Reducing Poverty.
I will talk about introduction for this presentation. The Federal Land Development Authority, or known as FELDA, was formed on 1 July 1956 when the Land Development Act into force. The first FELDA settlement was in Air Lanas, Kelantan. FELDA was launched in 1957 by Prime Minister Tunku Abdul Rahman. In 1961, Felda's first oil palm settlement opened, with 3.75 square kilometers of land. Felda can reduce the number of poverty because Felda gives a land and house to anyone who is incapable. From that land, people can generate their income, like they can be the farmers or breeders. Felda give a job opportunities for unemployed people. This is because government planting a lot of commercially viable trees on that land. One of the commercially viable tree was palm oil. Palm oil has a lot of efficiency and we can do anything with palm oil. Like we can make hair oil, margarine, creamer, coconut milk powder and others. Because palm oil has a low efficiency, palm oil has become a main import materials for our country. Felda can offer a lot of work to people because Felda was the country's major import company. So, people can ask for work to make their life become better. So, the poverty problem among people in Malaysia can be reduced.
Background of study. Land Group Settlement Area (GSA) is an act for the purpose of ensuring uniformity of law and policy in respect of the establishment of group settlements area and the condition of separations and occupations of land in such area and for other matters that are related to it. GSA regulations have explicitly resisted the divisions of inheritance among heirs where only one nominee will be named as a trustee. Through this act, the development of land for large-scale agriculture, especially for permanent crops such as rubber, oil palm and cocoa are privately owned land and not on an ad hoc basis as practiced through the Kanan Tanah Negara (KTN). After 50 years of establishment of FEDA, the average first-generation settlers are getting older and the debt toll is rising. It becomes a question of where lately the issue of the division of FEDA inheritance land is getting more and more attention by society due to the failure to complete the inheritance. According to Zulkifli Muhammad 2010, in his past research at Felda Lurah Bilut, Bentong, he stated that the lack of understanding of settler community on land ownership and the inheritance held darkest a family dispute over division heritage land. GSA Act actually can help to reduce poverty among citizens. Thus, this study is conducted to analyze the impact of GSA on the social relations of the further generations. Objective of study. There are 4 objectives in this study. The first one, to study the demographic profile of people in Felda Bukit Kepayang Pahang. Second one, to analyze the central tendency of income among people in Felda. Third one, to analyze the measure of dispersion among workers in Felda. And the fourth one, to study how Felda help the locals in providing opportunity in agriculture and economic sector.
Our description of data is, the population is all the people in Felda Bukit Kepayang Pahang, and our sample data is 300 people in Felda Bukit Kepayang Pahang. Our type of data is secondary data. Secondary data meaning it refers to data that is collected by someone other than the user, meaning we collected the data from the internet, the data that was originally collected for other research purposes. And this is our data source. This is the link. Next is our description of variables. We have 7 variables, which is 6 of them are qualitative and 1 of them are quantitative. Qualitative data is data that approximates and characterize, meaning that Qualitative is something that can be observed or recorded, while quantitative data is the type of data that is measured with numbers or counts. So we have 7 variables, which is gender, that is qualitative, education level, that is qualitative, marital status, that is qualitative, employment sector, that is qualitative, generations of elder, which is qualitative, place to stay, qualitative, and the only quantitative is the income.
Method of data analysis. For our qualitative variable, we are going to describe the data in pie chart and bar chart. Meanwhile, for our quantitative variable, we are describing it using frequency distribution, histogram, ogive, mean, mode, and median. And we also going to describe it with skew distribution, variance, and standard deviation. Analysis and discussion. The first pie chart is pie chart of genders, and as you can see there, the majority of respondents are male, meanwhile the others are female. Next, bar chart of level of education, and SPM have the highest number of frequency, meanwhile SPM or STAM have the least number of frequency. Next, pie chart of marital status. We could see that the majority of respondents are married, and single parent have the least number of respondents.
From the bar chart, we can see that the majority of respondents are farmers, which is 105 people. Meanwhile, the least number of respondents are students with 21 people. For the residents, from the bar chart, we can see that the majority of respondents are the residents of Felda with 225 people. From the amount, as many as 143 respondents live in Providence home, while the rest of 82 respondents live in their own house, and the remaining of 22 respondents live with other residents. The last qualitative variable, which is generations of Felda. From the pie chart, we can see that the majority of respondents are the second generations of Felda with a number of 182 people out of 300 respondents, followed by 110 respondents who are the first generation of Felda, and the remaining of 8 respondents are the third generation of Felda. Now for the quantitative variable, which is income, we can see from the bar chart, it shows that the majority of respondents' income are from 1,001 ringgit until 2,000 ringgit, which are as many as 147 respondents, followed by 108 respondents with an income below 1,000. The remaining respondents have an income from 2,001 until 8,000 ringgit. For the calculation of measures of central tendency, from the mean, we obtained the value 1,460 ringgit and 99 cents, and while for the median, we obtained the value 1,286 ringgit and 21 cents. And finally, for the mode, we obtained the value 1,241 ringgit and 24 cents. So, from the mean, it shows that the average income of respondents in Felda Bukit Kepayang is 1,460 ringgit and 99 cents. While for the median, it shows that the median income of respondents in Felda Bukit Kepayang is 1,286 ringgit and 21 cents. And finally, for the mode, it shows that most of the respondents' income in Felda Bukit Kepayang is 1,241 ringgit and 24 cents. Now, from the slide, you can see more than ogive of respondents' income. So, after analyzing the ogive, we can estimate the number of respondents with total income below 2,000 ringgit. And from the ogive, we can see that there are 255 respondents with total income below 2,000 ringgit. Next, we can also estimate the percentage of respondents' income that exceed 3,000 ringgit. After calculating, we obtain the number of 10% respondents that's income exceeds 3,000 ringgit. And for the last, it is found that 80% of the respondents qualify to receive Bantuan Prihatin Nasional. So we can approximate the maximum income so that the respondents could receive Bantuan Prihatin Nasional. After calculating, we could see that the maximum income so that the respondents could receive Bantuan Prihatin Nasional is 1,900 ringgit.
Skewed distribution of respondents' income. We can see here that it is positively skewed as our right tail of the distribution is longer than the left tail of the distribution. This is obtained as our value of mean is greater than the value of mode. Next, for calculation for measure distribution, we can calculate variance by subtracting value of one observation with mean and square it. repeat it for every value of observation, and the total will be divided by number of observation minus 1, and this is the value that we obtain. For standard deviation, we just have to square root the value of variance that we obtain. Next, calculation of coefficient of variation and skewness. First, coefficient of variation can be calculated by the formula of standard deviation divided by mean, and we're going to take the result in percentage as we are going to multiply it with 100%. We can see here the value is really high because the level of distribution is high. The lower the value, the more precise the estimate. For Pearson coefficient of skewness, we calculate it with multiplying 3 to the value of mean minus median and divide it with standard deviation. And the value we obtain here is positive, and it is actually sync with our jive that it is positive.
Now, we came to the conclusion where FELDA or Federal Land of Development play a big role in eradicating the poverty issues in Bukit Kebayan Pahang, such as the GSA Act restricted the division of inheritance where only one person among the heirs will be named as trustee. Through this act, it helps residents in Bukit Kebayan Pahang to reduce the number of people in poverty because even though the land that was inherited to the trustee is still not considered as permanent property by the settlers. This gives benefits and opportunities to the residents in Bukit Kebayan, especially towards the residents in second generation to cultivate and afford the land. Other than that, FELDA also gives hands in providing homes that are affordable for residents as they optimize the use of vacant sites with houses. So there will be no problem for people, especially towards homeless people, to have a place to live as FELDA already provided for them in order to reduce the number of homeless people. Aside from that, FELDA also provides land for the people and helps them develop the land to improve their living costs and standards of socio-economy. Through the opening of the new land, it gives chances in the employment sector since the majority of employment sectors are farmers, so they will be able to get jobs in the agriculture field and at the same time will be able to improve their life standards. It is clear that FELDA continues to carry a major role and a big part by providing opportunity and bringing the chance for the explorer and settlers to change their living standard. Next is recommendations. In the future, we hope that as much as we know that FELDA contributes a major part in reducing the number of people in poverty in Bukit Kebayan, we hope that FELDA could always maintain their efforts in helping the poor in the future. We hope that they could provide more opportunities for farmers to start a new life by developing the land, providing facilities such as farm equipment or greenhouse would definitely give a big impact for the eradication of poverty among farmers. Furthermore, FELDA also should look further and deeper about abandoned housing projects that are supposed to help this group. This group is referred to the resident in Bukit Kebayan that in poverty. Most housing projects under FELDA were interrupted for some reason. They should find other solutions to continue the projects because a lot more people are still waiting the projects to be done as soon as possible because they want the shelters, and a lot more people still did not get the shelters due to the uncompleted projects. Subsequently, to look deeper into the act that stated about issues division of inheritance, where only one person among the heirs will be named as trustee, we suggested enacting the act where FELDA could give chance for the heir to be an owner, but with the conditions and terms which led other settlers to cultivate the land too. So this will give benefits to both sides, either the heirs or the people in Bukit Kebayan Pahang to get their income.
We put high expectation in the future from Felda to cope with the issues that Bukit Payang Pahang receive. If they give a lot more opportunities for the residents there, maybe their life will be a lot better. And at the same time, the number of people in poverty in Bukit Payang will decrease.